and make those embers glow. I'm on my way, and I don't skip a beat. I can't help it, I've got happy feet. So good, I do what I want and it's understood. There's no stopping me when I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. I'ma do me. You know what I mean. I'm on fire. I'm feeling glad there's a spark in my soul. Feel my heart go zing. I'm clapping my hands and I'm pulling these strings. No stopping me when I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. I'ma do me. I'ma do me. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm on fire. Yes, I am. I'ma do me. I'ma do me. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm on
I'm steady walking like I got 3 commas in my bank account, living loud. So get your cameras out. I'll probably do the same thing if I was you. Looking at me now, now. Put up your lights and keep them flashing. Don't ever put them down, down, down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Good God, I'm looking sweet. Right now I'm feeling like a slice of heaven, and you wanna sink your teeth in me. And the way that I move my feet, it's like I got this whole world spinning round to the rhythm of my heartbeat. Put up your lights and keep them flashing. Don't ever put them down, down, down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. I feel so good. I feel so money. I feel so good. I feel so money. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. I feel so good. I feel so money. Look at me now. So good. I feel so money. Look
I can't seem to focus, and you don't seem to notice I'm not here. I'm just a mirror. You check your complexion to find your reflections all alone. I had to go. Can't you hear me? I'm not coming home. Do you understand? I've changed my plans, 'cause I'm in love with my future. Can't wait to meet her. And I'm in love, but not with anybody else. Just wanna get to know myself. I know supposedly I'm lonely now. No, I'm supposed to be unhappy without someone, but aren't I someone? You're so handsome, but I know better than to drive you home. 'Cause you'd invite me in, and I'd be yours again. But I'm in love with my future, and you don't know her. And I'm in love, but not with anybody here. I'll see you in a couple years.
It's been a little while since I looked in your eyes and walked that bridge to the other side. Mama says it's gonna get cold in the night, but if I picture you, then I'll be alright. I am ready. I am ready for you to be here. It's been a little while since I held your hand, so my arms won't stretch to your distant lands. Give me every person in the whole wide world, and I'll pick you out in a second, girl. I am ready. I am ready for you to be here. For you, to be here.
Hello, everybody. We're live. Tonight's DJ, Mark Juan. Friday night, eh? I think it's the first time doing the late night coffee show Friday night. I mean, why would you join at 10 p.m.? But we have 5 people live, so I didn't expect it. It was a surprise. I didn't really plan this one. I was going to do a LCS last Sunday, but with all the hectic things going on in my life right now, especially a building of my new clinic, we are immensely behind our schedule, as you probably saw my vlogging. But hopefully we'll pull through. I'll keep you guys posted regarding my office build. Okay, it is a big clinic. It's a 14,000 square foot clinic. It's by far the biggest project I've ever done. So I'm gonna need you guys to wish me good luck. Some prayers definitely needed. Okay, who's joining tonight? All right. Lisa. Hey, sweetheart, how you doing? Can everybody hear me okay? Audio, visual? I didn't really get a chance to really test it out. So, Lisa, let me know if you can hear me all right. Okay. Who else is joining here? Where's Scott, the usual suspect? We have a doctor joining from midnight in Sherwoodport. Wow, midnight over there. Okay, well, thanks for joining. Appreciate that. Who else here? We have Javan joining us. We also have Tan Nguyen joining again. Okay, good. All right. So, well, good to go. Okay, Lisa, you're my a sous chef tonight. Okay, make sure that I stay on course. Okay, tonight's going to be a short one. Like I put up on the poster, mini poster, is anterior case that I did this week. Okay. So let's talk about it. People thinking like anterior case, you do that all the time, Dr. Kwon. What's so difficult about it? Well, this one's tricky, and I think I thought about should I do an episode on this or not. But I think if you're a intermediate level who are getting into anterior therapy or have done some anterior therapy, I think you'll appreciate tonight's episode. So let's get to it. Okay. All right. Let me go into case review mode. Is this it? Case review. Hold on, where to go? There it is. Let me put my face down here. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. All right. I'm on the bottom right corner. So let's look at this case together. So a little background on this case here. The patient is a male, healthy male. He's only 22 years old. Patient was referred by one of my doctor who graduated the comprehensive implant residency program 2 years ago, and she's very comfortable doing single, double, multiple molar cases like most of my doctor who graduate our comprehensive program. They're more than adequate to diagnose and to implant for those cases. However, when it comes to anterior cases, it's a different beast, isn't it? So she wanted me to handle this case, so the patient flew in last weekend. That was a Saturday. I did a consultation, and patient already pre-booked the surgery for Thursday, which is yesterday. Okay, so I did a case yesterday, and out of curiosity, I put this case up on the begin and see what kind of response I get. Okay, so the challenge is this, right? Whenever we're doing lateral, okay, 1-2 or 2-2, it's a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky because you don't have much space. That's one thing. Not enough space buccolingual, but also mesiodistal. Okay, and because of that, we are forced to use narrower implant. And my favorite implant size for the lateral is 3.2 diameter implant, 3.2 or 3.3. I use either Straumann 3.3 rock solid implant, taper, bone level, or Hyosin ET3 3.2 millimeter, which is a grade 5 alloy implant for strength. Okay, so that's what usually my go-to is. But if you look at it carefully, what do you see here, right? This tooth had a trauma, and when the child, he was young, and then they put the crown. And what has happened is, about a month or month and a half ago, the crown broke off, and there's hardly any tooth structure left. And the referring dentist, she didn't want to put another new crown on there because it's going to. So what she did was she put some composite there, just to kind of patch it up until the treatment gets done. Okay, all right. So I am stuck in a situation where patients are already booked for record gathering after the consultation, and surgery is going to be done on Wednesday. And I didn't get a chance to take a look at the CT until that consultation day. So I only had a few days to get my stuff together. So the thing is this, typically anterior case is something that I do every day. It's pretty easy. There's nothing really throws me off that much, but this case was different for a few reasons, right? One, first of all, young child. Okay, so whatever the work that I do, I want to make sure that I do good job, and it will last this gentleman a long time, right? And secondly, I want to make sure that he's fully grown, because I don't want to place implant on a person who's actively growing, and you guys know the reason why, right? Because implant is basically enclosed tooth, so it's going to behave like an enclosed tooth if we place implant prematurely. But luckily, he's 22, he's fully grown. His mom confirmed his shoe size didn't change, his pant size didn't change, but he's a big kid. He's like almost like 6 foot tall, and a young sweet guy, like a very, very good kid. But third problem was this. Okay, he's out of town, and whatever the temporization that I do, I want to make sure that it stays, okay, for the next few months during the osseointegration. And lastly, but most importantly, if you look at the CT scan, okay, what do you notice here, right? What do we notice here? Okay, my pen size. I said length. Who's this? Scott. It's like GBR, Scott. Okay, it's easier to grow bone sideways, but not easy to grow bone this way, vertically, right? Okay, so when you look at this a cross section of a CT scan I've taken, what do you see, right? Few things that I look at, right? Few things. What do I look at here? I do some measurement. Okay, I didn't do measurement of a buccal lingual because I know there's enough width. I'm looking at an apical triangle right here. Okay, apical triangle right here. And because this is an area where I'll be grabbing with my implant for initial stability. And initial stability is very, very important when it comes to immediate anterior therapy, isn't it? Right? Okay. And second thing that I look for is house fill value, bone density. So even though in this case there is not that much bone here, only about 4 millimeter, but if the bone density is above 200, 250 house fill value, then I know I can get good initial stability, so which is also very good information. Thirdly is going to be overall length. Okay, so that's the problem. Here I do have enough bone for apical stability, right? Not a lot, but still enough. And the length, total length from the floor of the nose to the palatal, which is going to be my static reference point, is about 20 millimeter. That's plenty, right? That's plenty. But look at this here. From the buccal crest height of the bone to the apex of this root is almost 15 millimeter length. 15, 1-5. And that is a bit unusual. Why is that? Okay, typically lateral incisors are not that long. Okay, and the longest implant, that is my go-to implant, which is Megagen Anyone. Their longest implant is 15 millimeters. So how am I going to place a 15 millimeter length implant when the root is just as long? Or if you take into consideration of an apical lesion, this thing's already 15, 17 millimeter into the socket, right? Okay, so that is the problem. That is the problem. Okay, so what did I do? As soon as I've done my consultation, I come out of the room, okay, and then I text, okay, my rep, right? Megagen rep, I call, do you guys carry any 18 millimeter length implant? Okay, and typically Megagen, they don't have a 3.2 grade 5s, so I go with their 3.5. Okay, to have a 3.5 by 18 millimeter. The answer is obviously no, right? Obviously no. What do we do? What do we do? Okay, what would you guys do, right? Some of the members on begin post, they said, okay, use a longer implant, do the socket shield and the socket graft and come back. I mean, they're all good answers. Okay, I have nothing against it. I love them all. The problem is this, right? Patient who got referred to drive all the way from Interior BC, over 8 hours of driving, okay, came here, and they are expected to drive back on Thursday morning because they already booked the surgery on Wednesday. Sorry, Wednesday, Thursday, or today? Okay, yeah, getting my days mixed up. So they already pre-booked everything. So they're expecting that they're going to get the implant in. So doing a socket grafting and have them come back 4 months later is kind of out of question. So I gotta make something stick. Okay, so I need to place an implant there, right? So, what do I do? What do I do, right? Okay. One of the way to get around it, I figure, was to use an 18 millimeter implant. So how many manufacturers make 18 millimeter or longer size implant? Okay, I only know a few. One is BioHorizon. Okay, BioHorizon implant. I'm not a big fan. I have them. Okay, if anybody wants to buy them for half price, I'll sell it to you. I still have about 200 BioHorizon implant. One of the reasons that I do not like BioHorizon implants is, again, personal preference, is because the connection is not a true conical connection. Okay, it's a almost a butt margin connection, and their thread design I'm not a big fan of. Okay, yeah, so I don't want to place BioHorizon. Second is Nobel also makes 18 millimeter length implant. I'm not so sure if they make a 3.5 by 18 millimeter, but I know that they do have 18 millimeter in some of their sizes. Okay, once again, I'm not a big fan of Nobel. I've used them in the past. I'm not a big fan of their Tionite surfacing. Okay, yeah. Here it says 18 millimeter nightmare if the removal later on in life. Okay, I'll refer to you. Okay, you can struggle with it. Yeah, they are, but I've placed 18 before. And what's another company that makes 18 millimeter? Hyosin. Hyosin makes 18 millimeter, and I confirmed it with Tim at a Hyosin rep. I said, you know, what size 18 millimeter implant do you carry? And he says, we have it 18 millimeter on 4.5, 4.0. and 3.5. And then he wrote on the bottom of the text, he said, but Dr. Kwon, you probably don't want 3.5 millimeter diameter implant. Okay, he knows the inside joke, right? I have so many of Hyosin ET3 3.5 diameter implant fracture on me, so I don't place them, right? So it's tempting, but no. So I told him, okay, Tim, send me over 4 by 18. Okay, 4 by 18. So I had a two choice, right? Had a two choice. Either I take this tooth out and clean the infection. Okay, first of all, cleaning the infection is another problem. This is like almost 17 millimeter depth, 16 millimeter, 17 millimeter depths here, and how am I going to clean that, right? My Lucas crit doesn't even reach that long, and it's like those oval shape, right? So this constriction is hard to get in there. Right, it's hard to get in there, so that's another issue, right? I have to take the tooth out atraumatically and clean the apical lesion, okay, thoroughly, and stick an implant in. So option number one, once I do extract it, once I do clean the apical lesion, I can try to put 4 by 18 millimeter implant and grab the apical triangle. Okay, that's one thing, and then okay, of course, dual zone graft the socket and the gingival area, and that'll be that. But look at over here, this side of the CBCT. Just because there's enough room for me to put 4.0 diameter implant, that does not mean that I can. Sorry. Just because I can't, that doesn't mean that I should. Okay? Because the biological width not only affects buccolingually, mesiodistally also affects as well. Okay? So that is also an issue. Okay, yeah. Here somebody says stability by engaging mesial distal walls. No, okay, that's not always a smart idea. That means I have to use a wider implant, and just like I mentioned, that's not a smart thing. Okay, you can end up losing bone width approximately. Okay, so I'm between the rock and the hard place, right? Okay, either I can try to go with a 4x18, okay, which is right here, 4x18, right here. Okay, I did a simulation, okay, and I could squeeze it in. And that will fill up the socket. Okay, yeah, it's doable. Okay, and I had an implant arrive on time, so that's one of my options. The other option is this. Okay, that's first option, 4x18. Okay, grab the apical triangle, keep the implant about 4 millimeters below the buccal gingival margin. Okay, or second option is this. Place 3.2 by 15. Okay, 3.2 by 15, and keep it as parallel as possible, and try to achieve stability with whatever the apical triangle I can grab. Okay, so I had a two option. My first option was see if I can do this, and if I cannot get the stability, then I will pull out a 4x18. Okay, so I had an option. So always good to have an option. Okay, all right. So, okay, all right. How many people wow, we have 10. Okay, from 5 to 10. Okay, so I managed to take the tooth out. Okay, I managed to take the tooth out, but I know when I took this tooth out, I didn't get lucky. This is not the size of granulation tissue I was looking for. I know there's a bigger one, right? So what did I do? Okay, and I can feel it under there. There's something there. So it's one of the technique that I use. I don't use it all the time, but I use it often enough. Okay, so what you do is you check the patient's smile line, and you want to stay away from the height of the maximum smile line, and you make an incision. Okay, the reason you want to stay away from the smile line is because sometimes when you make these type of incision, it can leave a scar, because oftentimes they are in a mucosa, not in the attached gingiva. Okay, so you want to make sure that your incision is high enough so that when it does scar, it doesn't show. Okay, yeah. And then what you do is, now this I did before I put the implant, obviously. Okay, so I took the tooth out. I did the incision first, and then like an apicoectomy, I made a circle, and once I located the apex of the root, I pulled the tooth out. Okay, and then I used the coarse diamond burr to clean out the socket. Okay, and Lucas cure it and take that out. Okay, and then I carefully start to do the osteotomy on the palatal area, and I use my sharpshooter. I have my own specific sharpshooter twist drill sequence that I do so that I can keep palatal proximity to optimal. Okay? All right. Yep, semilunar flap. Yeah, that's oftentimes the endodontic colleagues they talk about, right? I don't know if you guys knew, I used to be a pretty good general dentist. I'll sidetrack a little bit. When I first graduated dental school, I sent out about 30 resumes in lower mainland Vancouver. I couldn't get a single job offer because every time I go for interview, they said they're looking for somebody with experience, and I was just a new grad. My argument was, if you don't give me an experience, how am I, supposed to get an experience, right? You need experience to get an experience. So one of the part-time first jobs I got offered was this small little town between Vancouver and Whistler. It's called Squamish. It's really well developed nowadays, but back then it was, not very well developed, right? And it's about hour and 30 minutes from where I lived in Vancouver. So every morning I'll travel hour and a half driving, Sea to Sky Highway, a beautiful drive, by the way, and then I go to work. And it was a satellite practice. And they offered me a job like 3 times a week. Okay. Of course, I took the job. I was happy to work, and I didn't have much patience. But as each month go, I started getting more and more and more impatient. And this principal dentist, who only come once a week, he let me pretty much do anything I wanted to do. So I had all the freedom. And he hated doing root canals, so I got to do all the root canals. So I got really good at it. And one time, one of this patient had a failed endo from previous dentist, and I wanted to refer this patient to a North Shore in Vancouver endo specialist to get apicoectomy done. And the patient looked at me. She was an elderly lady. Said, "Mark, I really don't want to drive all the way there. I hate driving. Okay, it's a long drive. Can you do it for me?" So I said, "I never done it before. You know, you have to make a decision." So I was explaining to her. She goes, "Mark, I'm sure you can do it. Can't be that hard, can it?" So she was, so I said, "Are you sure you'll be my first guinea pig, right? You might lose that tooth." "Well, Mark, if you lose it, then you can, do something else, for a bridge or something." "Okay, fine. All right." So basically, my very first apicoectomy was tooth number 11, okay, similar to this here. And I had my textbook, Pathway to the Pulp, right beside it. I'm reading, okay, and I'm doing it at the same time, okay. And that's how I learned to do the semi-lunar flap. And once I start doing that, the rumor has that in that town, if anybody needs an apicoectomy, I'm the guy to send. So I start to get local dentists sending me apicoectomy cases, right? So within about 1.5 year time from that moment on, I've pretty much got to do apicoectomy on every single roots you can ever imagine. Okay, so that's how I learned semi-lunar. Okay, apicoectomy. All right, that's my background. So start doing this, and it was good, right? Yes, it is. It is a beauty of working in a small town, isn't it? Right? So never estimate your opportunity work in a small town, man. I miss that place. My patients still come from there after 25 years. When they need implant, they still come, right? So anyways, the reason you don't see the apex of the implant, which is 15 millimeter length, okay, that's the maximum come, is because I am behind this granulation socket. Okay, you want to go back? See that right here? You see the socket here? Made a window over here, right? I accessed it, but my implant is parallel to that. Okay, that's why you don't see it. Okay, so you can imagine how parallelly I had to place that implant, right? Okay, but at the same time, I wanted to get the depth exactly where I want. So the depth of the implant for the anterior should be what? 4 millimeter below the proposed buccal gingiva. So how do I check that? Okay, by placing a healing abutment 4 millimeter wide and 4 millimeter height. So if this healing abutment is flush to the buccal gingiva, you know you're in the right depth. Okay, that's how you know it. Okay, yeah. And also when you put the healing abutment as a test run, there should be enough buccal jump gap. This is also important, right? And then what do? I'm a sticky bone guy, okay? Dr. Bernard Jin protocol, sticky bone here and sticky bone here, okay? Some bone from here, knock yourself out, okay? And then I suture that back, okay? Suture with my 6.0 PTFE suture, okay? Nothing fancy, okay? But clean suturing, because otherwise you end up with noticeable scar, and I don't like scars. So you don't need a lot of sutures, but you want to use small micro suture, okay, like a 6.0 or 7.0. And then that's my sutures and sticky bone, as you can see here. Now the question, pop quiz, okay, pop quiz. How am I going to temporize this? Am I going to put fixed temporary in there? Right, fixed temporary. I only have stability with maybe 3 millimeter bone, right? Not a lot, okay. And just because, like I said, I can't make a temporary, immediate temporary on this implant, that does not mean that I should, right? Okay. Because think about it. I get stressed whenever I get patient referred from out of town. The furthest distance of a referral I've ever received in my career was a referral from Germany, okay? Germany. Okay, somebody referred a patient all the way from Germany to Vancouver, okay? I had a frequent referral from Toronto. I've had a referral from China, Hong Kong, okay? But I'm flattered, but I get stressed because during that few months of healing in their own home turf, if something were to happen, what are you going to do, right? So I have to be extra cautious, right? Extra cautious, right? Okay. So, and I don't want to do immediate temporary onto the fixture because if that were to ever bite into, it's a boy, right? Boys don't usually listen to mom or dentist, okay? So if they were to bite into something, forget, oops, we lose an implant, okay? Yeah. So I didn't want to put the fixture, immediate temporary onto the implant. Okay, so decide not to do that. What other option is? Okay, well, I can have a flipper, right? S6 with a tooth built in. Okay, but the problem is a lot of people don't want to wear it. Okay, and if you don't wear it, what's going to happen is teeth can start to migrate. Okay, migrate. So that's another problem, right? And some of you might argue that, wow, it's anterior tooth, they are going to wear it. You know what? You'll be surprised. Because of the COVID-19, a lot of patients, if it's not comfortable, they don't wear it, they put a mask on instead. Okay, so compliance is not the greatest for a young man. Okay, so what did I do? And the answer was by Smarty Pants, okay, Easy Dent, okay, bonding the agent adjacent, which is also known as bonded Maryland. Okay, bonded Maryland, right? So how did I do this one? So I've etched it. Acid etch is my restorative aspect of my career shining through. Okay, don't forget, I'm a general dentist. Okay, I'm a general dentist. Just because I don't do general dentistry these days, that doesn't mean that I've lost all my skill, right? So you acid etch, okay, and then you gently rinse it, okay, and then what you do bonded Maryland, okay. You use a composite. I've freestyled it, okay. The key is you don't want to compress this buccal margin. You can come in very intimate contact, but you don't want to compress it. You want to respect the biology, and at the same time, you want to follow the contralateral incisal gingival height, okay? Yeah. So, and then you polish it, and you want to make sure that you don't compress the interproximal papilla either, okay? Again, follow the principle of aesthetics and biology. And then here it is. And if you look at the occlusal view, here is my design of bonded Maryland. As you can see, I make this lateral tooth very thin, buccolingually. That gives enough room to do what? Place the rebond. Okay, rebond is R-I-B-B-O-N-D. Okay, yeah. Whoever invented rebond, I'm sure he is a billionaire. Okay, because so many of people like us use him, right? And they use a flowable composite to kind of fixate that, and you polish it. And another reason why you want to keep this buccolingual dimension thin is so that patient have access to hygiene. Okay, access to hygiene. You see that right here? I have a healing abutment. I do not put cover screw and try to close it up. Okay, healing abutment, if you can get the stability, it's way better to place a healing abutment case like this than to place a cover screw. Okay, yeah, I covered that in detail at my advanced implant residency medial anterior program. Okay, hands on. Okay, so that's what it did. Okay, and of course you check the bite and adjust, and you relieve it, and give our patient bonded S6 as a backup. So this is one thing I do for all my out-of-town patients. Okay, I have a backup, order in for them. I tell the patient, okay, if you eat something that you shouldn't be, okay, and if this ever becomes debonded, I'm going to get your dentist in your town to put this in place instead. Okay, so try to not to break your bonded Maryland. Just be very, very careful, because we're not going to make a second bonded Maryland. We're going to give you S6. Okay, it's almost like a punishment, isn't it? That's kind of mean, but what I find that works really good, they're extra careful. Okay, and what I do is I text the referring dentist. I said, okay, dear so-and-so and so, thanks for referring this patient to me. I did implant surgery successfully. I've given a patient bonded Maryland bridge, okay, out of the occlusion, and I'm sending this with the patient to give it to you, so that in case of patient breaks the bonded Maryland, you have this as a backup. Thank you very much. Also, please do 2 weeks post-op examination and remove the stitches as needed. Okay, thank you. Please send your x-ray forward to me. All right, that's it. Okay, so that's how this case was managed. Okay, all right. Paul Lee calls me beautiful. Thank you. You're the only man that calls me beautiful. Thank you. And here Tan says, you made a temporary crown with quick abutment but didn't use screw. Bond to adjacent teeth instead. What is that? Made a temporary crown with a quick abutment but didn't use screw. I guess I'm thinking you used it, but you didn't connect it to the implant. Yeah, that's similar. That's similar to something like that. But I find a lot of the abutment that you it's too thick. You have to cut a lot. The beauty about this design, guys, is thin. It's got to be thin. If you make it too thick, they're gonna bite it off. First of all. Second, they cannot keep it clean. Okay, and this area can get infected. So you want this area totally hygiene capable. Okay, all right. So what I did was, before I sent the patient away, I decided to take a CBCT to see how the area is going to be, and so that I can also show you guys and show you how the implant is positioned, right? So this is I have a CT scan which is 20 by 20, but it's a capability to go like 5 by 5 or something really tiny, just like this right here. Okay, low radiation. And if you look at it right here, yeah, so implant is quite palatal. It's hugging the palatal, okay, bone right here, palatal wall, right? And this is 3.2 by 15 grade 5 alloy ET3. I'm not a Hyosin hater, okay? Right? I'm not. I love their implant design. I think it's one of the most ideal shaped. It's just that it's a shame that some of their implants are prone to fracture, okay? But I fractured a lot of their 3.5s, but I've never yet to fracture their 3.2s. And some of you will say, wow, you know, Dr. Kwon, 3.2 is narrower than 3.5. How can you not fracture 3.2? Grade 5 alloy. Whereas their 3.5 is CPT, commercially pure grade titanium. Okay, huge difference. People say grade 5 alloys have a 30% higher strength than grade 4s. Okay, I disagree. I think the strength is almost twice when it comes to thin walls. Okay, so I've yet to break their 3.2s. Amazing. That's why many times their 3.2 ET3 is my go-to for lateral incisors, and oftentimes the lower incisors as well. Okay. And one thing you will note though, because I was aiming for apical triangle here, if you draw the line from the apex of the implant all the way there, so where is coming out? Is coming out almost inside the edge here, right? Okay. Right. So what we're gonna have to do for the final angle screw channel driver, angle screw, so that I can have up to 20 degree of correction. Okay. So it's very handy. Another thing that you want to note is the depth of the implant to the margin of the height of the gingiva right here. Remember? Okay, this pontic, right, sits right above where the tissue was. So if you measure from here to here, it's going to 4 millimeter. How do I know that? Because its healing abutment is 4 millimeter height. Huh? Okay, that's how you know. All right. So that's it. Okay, that's it for tonight. It was a short one, huh? Okay. Okay, so 10 people. Next episode is not tomorrow, but the day after. Okay, listen up. This is important. Okay, day after, which is going to be episode 23, May 16th, Sunday, 7 p.m. Okay, 7 p.m. so that many of you across this universe can join my late night coffee show. Okay, and our invitation series. Okay, this time is a Dr. Richard Wong from Huntington, Pennsylvania. Okay, one of my favorite doctor. I got to know Richard a few years ago when I was in Toronto. He came all the way from Pennsylvania to take an advanced implant residency at the mastership program, and he completed it, the lateral window, anterior, the molar, the locator, and everything. So he cleaned us up. Okay, very smart young man. And this one's going to be very interesting for all of you, okay, because he's going to talk about the future of do-it-yourself digital dentistry. Okay, so he's been doing a lot of soul searching and research on guided surgery, and he purchased several of his own 3D printers, and he basically learned to how to use them, how to use the software, and he's doing most of, or if not all of, his guided surgery himself. Not only he designs it, but he also prints them in his own home or in his own office. So I think this is kind of important because the dentistry is changing. The things that we used to rely on lab, when we start to think about commercial lab, is becoming quite blur. right? There'll be more guys like me who start to have a lab in your own office, whether it's a 1 technician or 2 technician, or I have 5 technicians. I started with 2, really. And it kind of evolves, and it evolves because of digital dentistry, okay? And as you know, no technician can think like a clinician, okay? Yeah. But if you're a clinician, you can learn to think like a technician. And digital dentistry, especially implant dentistry, I think there's a lot of things that young doctors, like many of you, can go into this journey. Maybe it's not for everybody, but I think this Sunday topic will be very interesting for many of you. Okay, because I too went through this similar journey myself. Like 5 years ago, I bought a $100,000 3D printer, Stratasys, the Mercedes-Benz of 3D printer. That thing was like a huge, just like a small little refrigerator. I didn't know anything about softwares, okay? Yeah. But I knew even that at that time, the future is being able to learn how to do these things, right? Okay. Of course, now in my office, we have a 3D printer. We have 2 milling machines. We have dedicated CAD/CAM, guided planning, Kevin and everybody with ceramics and everything. But it really helped me understand the workflow, even though eventually I don't do those things, but understanding the workflow, it helps with the communication and making sure that everybody's doing their part properly. Okay, so join me live this Sunday. Richard's gonna take us through his adventure, his ups and his downs, and the good, the bad, and the ugly of the do-it-yourself workflow. Okay, so 023. Episode 23, May 16, Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so that's that, guys. Okay, also we just launched today year 2022 comprehensive implant residency program, 12-day comprehensive. This is our flagship, right? This is a flagship. So this gets always sold out. So if you want to take our comprehensive 12-day residency program, it includes anywhere from prosthetic, surgical, guided surgery, PRF, sticky bone, GBR, sinus grafting, name it. Okay, yeah, you also get to do a supervised 2 live surgery as well. So if you have want to join it, go ahead. It's a limited seating. And also if you have an associate doctor who you want them to learn implant surgery, it's a good program, or your colleagues. Okay, all right, so that's that, my friends. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this evening. Thanks for joining on the last minute. Okay, you guys take care. Okay, this is tonight's a verification code if you want to receive AGD 1 CE credit, LCS 2212. But you need to shout out. Okay, shout out your first name, last name, and the city, and write this down. Okay, right here. Okay, LCS 2212, and then you email to Grace, info@biceinstitute.com, and you'll get your certificate of AGD credit. Okay, so hope you guys have a good evening and a good weekend, and then I'll see you, some of you, hopefully on Sunday. All right, take care. Okay, bye bye.
We had our ups and downs, baby. Sometimes we were tight, and sometimes oceans apart. Gotta learn just how to move on without you. Move on without you. We had our on and offs, baby. Sometimes we were tight, and sometimes everything but. Gotta learn just how to forget about you. Forget about you. tight and sometimes oceans apart. Gotta learn just how to move on without you. Move on without you.